Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another video. Today we're going to be talking about a certain trailer that was released today, and happy Last of Us Day. As you know, or if you don't know, Last of Us Day is an annual thing that's been going on for a few years now, pretty much since the game was released, or at least a couple years after. And every Last of Us Day, we hope anyways to get some sort of announcement regarding anything Last of Us. Particularly The Last of Us Part 3, if that's going to happen. This year also was if we're going to get a Season 2 trailer, which we did. We got a Season 2 trailer. I'm going to break it down for you today. But regarding Last of Us 3, still no real news on that. I know it's kind of on Naughty Dog's radar, but I don't think they're really focused on doing that right now. And chances are, if they are doing that anytime soon, we probably still won't see it for several fucking years, considering that the second game itself did take about 7 years before we got that, and even that was delayed a little bit because of COVID. But Season 2, going into Part 2 of the game, which is very, very controversial. I mean, a lot of people had so many bad things to say about it. They just did not like the story of the game, certain things that happened. I won't spoil it for anybody, but I myself love The Last of Us, but I also had trouble playing that second game. I have played the first one, I don't know how many times through, but I've only ever played the second one time through, if that tells you anything. It's not that the gameplay was bad or anything like that. The gameplay, the acting, the animation, just different things about it were all great. It was all a step up from the first one. But the story was kind of a hard pill to swallow. It made sense. Completely made sense regarding how the story had to go, what direction it had to go and everything, but it was still nonetheless very difficult to deal with, very difficult to watch. I mean, you had people breaking down in tears over certain aspects of the game, certain scenes of the game, and I don't know what they plan on changing for this next season, as far as are they going to go, every bit of the story is going to go into the second season. That I don't know. They could very well change things. But I wanted to talk about the trailer, break it down. And, from beginning to end, this trailer was amazing. And I'm very, very excited for the next season, but I'm also very nervous for the next season, too, considering what the story entails. But anyways, let's jump into the trailer and break it down. This first scene that I got, Catherine O'Hara. We still don't have a definite answer of who she's supposed to play, but judging from this, it looks like she's kind of a therapist type in the settlement of Jackson. And she's talking to Joel, trying to get him to talk about the things that happened in that first season, the things that he went through to protect Ellie and what really happened, because of course the big reveal at the end of the last season was that he lied to her. He said that everything that he told her was what actually happened, but of course that was not the truth. And so he's kept this secret. He probably, if he even tells her, we don't know, but he probably only really shared that information with Tommy. But of course, as we know from playing the game, and this is not too big of a spoiler, Ellie does eventually find out. But moving on to the next frame, we got a shot of Joel here in that same conversation. Not really much else going on. He's kind of sitting, giving her that stony silence kind of look. The next one, we have a shot of Ellie from the back. She kind of bursts out of this barn, and it really looks like from the scene that she's walking and she's on a mission. She's got some determination behind those steps, and I think this is where she finds out what really happened. Then we got a shot of a mailbox with Miller on it. Joel Miller, if you didn't know. So this is something that has been established outside of the house that they took residence in after they moved into the Jackson settlements. And there is a 5-year time jump between games, so we're obviously probably going to see that too within the show. Then we got a shot of Joel here with the guitar. And the thing with the guitar, this is something that he teaches Ellie how to do, and it's one of the few things, like, she gets a piece of Joel. This is how she, carries on growing up and whatnot with him, kind of him taking her under his wing, kind of a father figure kind of thing going on. So this is something that he teaches her. And it's kind of featured in a few different shots, and also throughout the game you actually get to play different little bits of music as Ellie, and she plays for Dina, and so we get a lot of that type of stuff. I think we're going to see it I almost think we're going to see every bit of the second game copied over into every bit of the second season, but also the second season is supposed to be split into 2 different parts, as for now anyways. It could be more. But we get on the shot of Joel. This is just his hand showing you the guitar bridge. Then we get a shot of Ellie learning how to play guitar. Again, this is supposed to be kind of a very intimate, sentimental kind of thing that they have, they've bonded over. Then we get a shot of this beautiful mountain range, and if you can't tell, there's a person right down there. This is the moment that the antagonist, Abby, if you can look at her that way, you can kind of see it from both different sides. This is where she discovers the Jackson settlement. This is where she's out just kind of roaming around, and she sees it down there in the valley of the mountain. Then we get shots of Ellie and Dina, just kind of, I think this is when they're still out looking for supplies before the main story really takes off, and in the nearby abandoned town, of course, they run into trouble there. But we get another shot of Ellie and Dina. Ellie's playing guitar for Dina. This is where I think their relationship kind of grows a little bit deeper, considering that they already kind of have an intimate type of relationship, or at least a deep caring for one another. And this is, I think, where that starts to grow even more. There's a good shot of Dina right there. Next one, just another shot of Ellie. She has kind of walked up to Joel's porch, and I don't think I have a shot of it, but it's just Joel on his porch with his guitar. And she obviously looks very angry. I think this is where she finds out. Then we get our first shot of Jesse. This is a friend of Ellie's that goes out on supply runs and whatnot with her in the community. So they've kind of grown a pretty good friendship between that. Then we get a shot of Tommy. This is looking like a pretty epic scene, honestly, because we see him and all these other guys posted up, and this is in front of the main gates or the main wall of the Jackson settlements, and we'll kind of get to a few other shots, but there's some shit coming down that mountainside. Then we get our first shot of Abby. Abby is a very complicated character. She's very kind of black and white as far as her view of things, which can, of course, if you look at it from her angle, it makes sense with the way it has to go, but then again, being that she's also kind of seen as the villain, it's a very complicated situation, I think, and it would be that way with anyone, honestly, with how things played out at the end of the first game, and kind of makes those connections. Again, I'll try not to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played the second game, but you'll understand once you realize what her mission is and the reasoning behind it and everything. It should be an interesting season, to say the least, and what they actually get out of it in this half of the game anyways, because of the fact they are splitting this second game into a couple different seasons. This is what I was talking about. This is the site that Tommy and the rest of those guys up on that fence posting or whatever see a giant horde of infected just coming down that hill straight for the settlements. And we have another shot later in the trailer where we see them just slamming up against the walls because they're just mindless. Obviously, they're completely out of control, and they're just using their bodies as battering rams, basically. Now, this is a very important scene. If you have not played the game, you're not going to understand it, but this is where shit just really starts to go downhill. And it's, a pivotal scene to everything that's coming up, what sets off the story, what sends Ellie on her mission. And the next scene kind of also is, frame by frame from the game. And I really think we're not going to be spared any disappointment or any heartbreak in this next season. I don't think they're going to deviate from the story that much, because we get a scene of Joel here, and we just see his pistol. This is after Abby is pinned down by this infected, and he shoots her, and this kind of sets off the course of events that sets the story. And then we see them, what looks like they're racing down the hill. This is probably Abby, Tommy, and Joel after Joel has rescued Abby. Then we get our first shot of one of the scars. This is that strange settlement or strange group of people that basically just live off the land, live out away from other people, and they have, from what I remember anyways, a pretty strange kind of belief system. They have total faith in this woman. I think they just call her mother. I cannot remember. It's been so long. But it should be an interesting kind of addition to the ongoing problems and conflict that we're going to see for this next season. This is kind of that thing. This is feel her love. This is kind of their motto, or what they believe in as far as this woman that they all follow, and it's something that I think Ellie comes across, and it really freaks her out. I cannot remember his name now, so might have to come back to that one, but this is also a character from the game. I remember that this is the voice actor from the game playing the same part. This is what I was talking about earlier, just have infected slamming up against the gates or the walls of the Jackson settlement, so shit's about to hit the fan. Then we get a shot of Tommy and his wife. this is probably after the events that are occurring as far as all the infected charging down the hill at the settlement. And that is the last frame that I grabbed. All in all, like I said, from beginning to end, that trailer was amazing, and it depicted just the budget and the acting and all the effort they put into creating the show. And I'm just very, very excited for it. I'm ready to see how it differs from the game, if at all. Just what they're going to cram into this first half anyways, because as I mentioned a couple of times, that the second game is going to be split into at least 2 seasons, possibly 3, because I've heard that they are possibly thinking about, just depending on what story they can come up with, if they're going to come up with anything that deviates away from the game or just anything additional, that it could stretch into a 4th season. But that has yet to be 100% confirmed yet. I just know that Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann are thinking about this, so we could have this show around for a few more years at least. So I'm very excited to see how it plays out. What will be different between the game and the show? How will they address certain things? Because if you're unfamiliar with the game, and again, I won't spoil it for you, there was a lot of people that hated that game, and it caused just an uproar of the fandom as far as voice actors and the motion caption actors getting death threats because people are just, off the fucking hinges and just cannot differentiate between character and actor. People are just out of their minds when it comes to this kind of stuff. I don't understand it. But it should be an interesting season. I guess that will do it. So if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, of course. Consider subscribing. I do videos for Last of Us, Stranger Things, Walking Dead, just a little bit of everything. And I guess that will do it, guys. So take care. Bye.